They should, because they're decent this season, as we've seen, with a very good home performance against Tottenham, and they drew with Leicester 2 apiece, and they've lost just one of their last 6 games in the Premier League. And it's all about the return of Patrick Vieira, of course, here, the captain of the Invincible. Listen, the Arsenal fans singing his name. He's down below us. He's just stood up and taken the applause, and then he'll put that to bed. And he has a job to do tonight against his old side. The 2 teams lining up in front of us now. They break after the Premier League anthem. Palace in their change strip of yellow with the blue and red sash. Arsenal, of course, in red and white. One change for them. Nicolas Pepe, who came on at Brighton for a cameo from the bench, replaces Albert Sambi Lokonga. Their only change from that 0-0 draw was their worst performance, I think, of their 5-game unbeaten run. It means that Martin Odegaard is likely to play a deeper role unless Mikel Arteta makes a very bold move and disrupts the best defence he's had in months by playing the Japanese international. Tomiyasu in defensive midfield or centre-back. He has played there before, but if he plays 3 centre-backs, presumably then Pepe or Saka would have to play a wing-back. I can't see that happening. So wait and see how they line up. What is for sure, Wilf Zaha's missing for Crystal Palace. He hasn't been well since returning from international duty, we're told. He hasn't trained since coming back from Ivory Coast duty. So Edson Edouard, the £40 million signing from Celtic, replaces him. They've lost just one of their last 6 games, I've said. The only defeats this season have come at Chelsea and Liverpool. They are decent, they're a little bit more open under Patrick Vieira, but without Zaha they lack a little bit of sparkle, because in the last 29 games without him, they've scored just 14 goals and they have won just 5. Big miss for them today, Chris, isn't he, Wilf Zaha?
Oh, absolutely. He's such a threat as a ball carrier, isn't he, for Crystal Palace. Gets them up the pitch. I think he's had a great start to the season, and of course Palace are going to miss out. It'll be interesting to see how they set up. I've got a feeling that Odsonne Edouard played that position at times for Celtic out on the left-hand side. We'll see Benteke as the central striker, but Edouard out on the left for Palace. Not like for like, of course, with Zaha. You know, he's not really a ball carrier as such. He's got a trick, and he'll be on the left-hand side, I think, for Palace.
Referee is Mike Dean. Arsenal starting with a back 4. It would seem Pepe on the right-hand side, Saka on the left, and yes, Martin Odegaard in a slightly deeper role with Thomas Partey. Just a little bit concerned whether he'd be fit after coming back from Ghanaian duty. The 2 wins against Zimbabwe and World Cup qualifying, he scored in them both, but he's out there, makes a real difference to them. Mike Dean blows his whistle, and on 5 Live, the players of Crystal Palace, Arsenal, the match officials and the team officials take their knee to a ripple of applause from not a sellout but a decent crowd, and off we go then. Arsenal against Crystal Palace. We're talking about the return of the legendary Patrick Vieira, icon. Everyone loved him here 4 weeks ago. They didn't love Mikel Arteta here, did they? Now things have changed so quickly, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. They seem to have turned a corner. Arsenal, really disappointing start to the season, but we'll find out a lot about them this evening.
Here's Saka on the left-hand side, 5 yards in from that far touchline, and halfway inside the Palace half. Comes back to Thomas Partey. He just opened up his body and squirted the ball back to Ben White. White out wide to Nicolas Pepe, and here is Tomiyasu, who's had a steady enough start for Arsenal since joining the club from Bologna, but he had a very poor game at Brighton just before the international break. And here's on the left-hand side of the Arsenal centre-back pairing, Gabriel and Ben White have shown promise as a pairing, that's for certain, for Arsenal. They've been much better defensively, and they played so well in the first half.
I think he likes to be called Benjamin now.
Does he? Yeah. Benjamin White.
Benjamin White, yep.
Thank you very much, Christoph. And here's Tomiyasu. You have to call him Benjamin, like Andrew Cole.
Yep, I think so. Just trying to help my fellow commentator. I usually get things right, Jonathan.
That's right. The only 2 people actually in the world who call me Jonathan, close up, are my mother and you.
Who do you prefer?
Now, she's 91, probably a little bit more athletic than you are at the moment, I would suggest. And here's Benjamin White, overlooked by England recently. And here's Gabriel. To the left side, halfway line, far side from us is Tierney.
Yeah, they've set up as a 4-1 Arsenal. Partey at the bottom of the midfield. Odegaard and Smith Rowe playing centrally.
And he's given that away, and here's Benteke with a strong run to the edge of the penalty area, and Partey got back at him. Little tentative appeal there by Milivojevic for a free kick. I don't think it was, and MacArthur also raised his hand and looked towards Mike Dean. Bullish run by Benteke through the middle. Such a big improvement for Crystal Palace this season, provided by Conor Gallagher, with young legs in there, but Roy Hodgson and Ray Lewington, the previous managerial pairing, were desperate for fresh legs, desperate for players to be brought in, weren't given the opportunity, as the Crystal Palace goalkeeper Vicente Guaita gets it away. His 100th Premier League game, 27 clean sheets in that time. And here is Edouard on the left hand side. You'd have seen him a lot up there in Scotland at Celtic. Do you have any doubts that he'll succeed in Premier League football?
Look, I think his form fell away at Celtic. Certainly the last season and a bit wasn't at his best. Missed opportunities this season in front of goal. Got off to a good start though at Crystal Palace, didn't he? A couple of goals against Spurs it was on his debut, which I think will do him the world of good. He's a good footballer, links to play very, very well. Palace need that threat, don't they, in the final third?
Good ball out by Ramsdale to Smith Rowe. Finds Pepe down the Arsenal left-hand side. He comes up against a very promising young left-back in Tyrick Mitchell. London boy, comes from Brent, started at Brentford. He was on the academy there, and then Crystal Palace took him. Breakthrough season last season. Just the start of a great week of Sport on 5. Rugby Union Weekly follows us with Chris Jones, Danny Kerr, and Eddie Jones, a special guest. That'll be worthwhile listening. Then Champions League double-header tomorrow. Bruges against Manchester City, Atletico Madrid against Liverpool, or, as UEFA want to call them nowadays, Club Brugge and not Bruges. Just doing a little bit of commentary homework to assist my co-commentator there.
No Ali Bruce ball over there on the Eurostar today, standard Premier.
Well, there you are. He deserves a little bit of a rest though, having run the London Marathon and done so well in that London Marathon. We gave our producer George Cummings several years, I think, Chris, didn't he? 15 years?
16 years, and
I presume George beat him, did he?
Lost by 3 minutes, but blamed it on the toilet breaks.
Oh, right.
The old toilet trick.
And here's Pepe for Arsenal on the right-hand side. And just cleared by MacArthur. Got a little foot in, and it's a throw to Arsenal. About 20 yards out from the dead ball line, a little bit closer perhaps, and Toniasu will take it, looks for movement, gets it from Partey, cruelly hit by injuries last season.
Conor Gallagher, good challenge on Partey.
Good player.
Oh, absolutely. Well, what he has done, I think he's the one for Palace who really starts that press, has given them the energy in the midfield. And also the centre-halves, I think, this season a little bit more mobile, can play a higher line. He and Anderson.
He just fouled Odegaard there, though, did Gallagher, on loan from Chelsea, as he was last season at West Bromwich Albion, previously at Swansea and Charlton, to learn his trade. 0-0 in the 6th minute. And here's Gabriel at the back, his 5th start in a row. White has it, and back it goes then to the Brazilian from Sao Paulo. Left foot, looks for Saka on that left hand side, brings it down, awkward border control. Tierney's outside and gets across and looking for Aubameyang, and it was just taken away by Gay, the Crystal Palace player, also on loan from Chelsea. Lots of clubs that wanted it, or rather signed permanently from Chelsea. Lots of clubs were after him, I can tell you. £18 million, and perhaps the presence of Vieira sealed it for Crystal Palace. Here's Tierney. Now Partey strokes the ball up to young Smith Rowe. And for the under-21s recently. Odegaard out wide to the left-hand side, and that's for Saka. Dead ball line squeezed in the cross. It's deflected away. Came off Joel Ward, and it's going to be a corner here for Arsenal.
Good match-ups in those wide areas. Saka against Ward, who's had a good start to the season. The other side, Pepe against Mitchell, but Ward doing his job there, stopping the cross. Arsenal corner.
No one has played more Premier League football to Crystal Palace than Joel Ward. Stalwart at the back, supremely fit, kept up those fitness levels. Now Out swings the corner. And Gabriel was forward over the head of Tomiyasu all the way through. And Pepe has it. Tomiyasu back to him. And he's got him behind Ayew here. And Ben Swartz a pass out. That's good. Goalkeeper Italy! But the rebound plops out towards Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And Arsenal lead by a goal to nil with 7 minutes gone.
Well, Aubameyang really alert here. With poor defensive play from Crystal Palace. It's an Arsenal corner. And the ball is overhit, goes out towards the touchline. Pepe picks the ball up, plays a 1-2 past Jordan Ayew, and then bends the ball as heading into that far corner. And Guaita gets a good fingertip to it, gets it away. Aubameyang alert onto it, cushion, left foot finish on the volley, cool as you like, sharper in the brain, and what a start for Arsenal.
Too easy in the way that Pepe got into the box to bend his shot. Keeper was a little bit unfortunate. And Aubameyang gets his 21st goal in his last 31 London derbies and is 6th in his last 7 games for Arsenal, more than he'd managed in his previous 17. He had the little forward aerial somersault in celebration of the goal in Aubameyang style. And Arsenal are ahead. And what can Crystal Palace muster now to counter without Wilf Zaha? Came back sick from international duty, and Palace have a free kick on the halfway line.
Yeah, I have to say, I thought the Palace defending was woeful. The way Pepe went past Jordan Ayew, lazy defending from him. You could see what was going to happen. Everybody in the stadium could, that Pepe was going to play a 1-2, and then it was a good effort actually, decent save, but Aubameyang really sharp onto it, expected the goalkeeper to make a save, and an easy footed finish.
Vieira comes to the touchline, barks out an order with his dark trousers on and his dark turtleneck jumper, is it? Out there, and Arsenal look to clear it away with Pepe. I thought he was bright when he came on at Gametz against Brighton just before the international break. Tomiyasu clears it away, left-footed to the halfway line. Mark Gay is there, born in Abidjan, but plays for the England under-21s, just back from playing against Slovenia away and Andorra away from home. 4 points from those 2 games. One of the under-17 World Cup win 4 years ago. And here's Odegaard for Arsenal, deep inside his own half. 5 live from the BBC, approaching 10 minutes, and Arsenal lead Crystal Palace by a goal to nil. Vieira stands statuesque in that technical area down below us. Wonderful footballer, leader of that invincible side, although he had injuries start of that invincible season, I think it was. That was the year that he had the bust up in the tunnel with Roy Keane over remarks made to Gary Neville. And then the relationship between him and the club at the end of that season, and after the FA Cup final shootout, when his last kick was to score from the penalty spot against Manchester United, things got a bit fractious and off he went at the end of that. He's regarded as an icon here, something of a saint for Arsenal fans, but people forget that Patrick Vieira could put it about a little bit. He could put it about a bit. He could be a little bit naughty at times as a wonderful midfield player, but I guess in those times you have to be at that side of the game, Chris.
Absolutely. You look at the last decade for Arsenal, and they've lacked leadership, haven't they? I think on the pitch, maybe more than a decade, and he certainly was one of the absolute greats of Arsenal.
You'd see more stiff tackles in an Arsenal-Manchester United game, a single game in that period, than you see in a whole season now. Here's White to Pepe on this left-hand side, or right-hand side I should say, for Arsenal. It's controlled by Tomiyasu. Conor Gallagher has it, centre circle, white boots, yellow shirt. Those 2 alternate strips. He thought he was fouled by Aubameyang, and Arsenal raid down the right-hand side with Pepe, and Aubameyang thought he was tripped off the ball by Milivojevic. He's down on his knees, and a little bit of a rash clearance away there by Joachim Andersen. And this understanding with the goalkeeper, Crystal Palace get away with it. Aubameyang still down, by the way. as Crystal Palace counter with Edouard. Ahead of him is Benteke, who's just moved away there very easily from Gabriel and turns on the edge of the penalty area and goes into the box and flops to the ground between defenders. Gabriel is furious with him. No penalty, Mike Dean, just a cursory wave at it.
Yeah, he's looking for that. Christian Benteke, dare I say it, he's better than that. He goes down too easily. It was a good opportunity from Palace on the break. Tomiyasu high up the pitch, Odsonne Edouard driving on the left-hand side from within his half. Wasn't the best ball into Benteke, sharp turn, but didn't make the most of the opportunity and then went to ground.
Here's Anderson now, the Dane. They've qualified for the World Cup finals next winter. A really good campaign. And here's Mitchell on the left-hand side, just inside the Arsenal half. Pepe blocked the ball, gets it back to Tomiyasu, a little interchange between the two of them. Now Tomiyasu plays a decent ball into Partey, has lots of time to bring it out, bypasses Milivojevic and Gallagher with one ball to Odegaard. He finds Tierney on the diagonal of Smith Rowe, and just outside the Palace box, young Mitchell got back just in time. And Arsenal look very decent here on the attack.
Should have been awarded the throw in there. Arsenal might be giving it to Crystal Palace. Aubameyang down again. That was, I think, from that challenge from Conor Gallagher, where he did really well defensively. We're just seeing the Christian Benteke. He overhits the ball inside the box, doesn't he? He's not getting that, and I think he is actually the instigator there, crashing into a couple of Arsenal bodies. But this would be a worry for Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, the one, the Benteke one, that's for you and Robbie to look at in the simulation game, I think.
Yep. Well,
went down very easily, didn't they?
Went down too easily. Benteke better than that. Just seeing that Aubameyang challenges Conor Gallagher, and then he's actually moving all right. He gets clipped, doesn't he? Is it Milivojevic?
Yeah.
Just clips him.
As he
I think
behind
it's
him.
accidental, but he sat down just after that, and he sat down again, which just being pulled to his feet, seeing that his goal again.
Poacher's goal, far post.
A little bit of an angle, but not enough of an angle to make it too difficult. Just concentrate on the connection, push and finish, open goal, and Arsenal where they want to be.
Patrick Vieira on his return, they're still singing his name, and then the Arsenal fans in front of us singing. The Palace fans are in the far corner of the ground away. If you look at the stadium, there's a big clock face there away at 1 o'clock. We're down at 6 o'clock, very low down the lower tier of the West Stand. As you look out the roof above us, it appears we're looking out through a letterbox at the action in front of us on 5 Live, where Crystal Palace have the ball just outside their own penalty area. Gay plays it to the right, and Anderson, just back from Danish duty, actually played in one of their games, to the right hand side. That's lost. They've lost possession just inside their own half, cheaply as well, and Arsenal have it with Pepe looking to ping the ball out to the left hand touchline, and he dragged it rather, but it took a deflection, and it's a corner kick to Arsenal on the left hand side. I don't think it was a very good ball in the first place, Pepe. I don't think it would have made its mark, but anyway, he's won a corner kick.
Palace have to switch on. They effectively conceded a goal off the last Arsenal corner. The next phase,
and it's going to be Smith Rowe to bend that corner away, high into the edge of the 6-yard area, comes up, Pepe slams it back into the box. It's blocked in there by MacArthur, and he plays a good ball out to Edouard, isolated centre circle with Tierney, support arriving, Ayew to his left hand side, guarded by Smith Rowe. He holds it up for Crystal Palace and pushes it back to Tyrick Mitchell. 1-0 to the Arsenal, 16 minutes gone.
1v1 there when the ball went up to Odsonne Edouard. Him and Kieran Tierney will know each other very, very well from their time at Celtic together. Just wonder whether Edouard would have fancied getting on the half turn and really driving at him.
11 trophies Tierney won as a Celtic player. 9, I think, Edouard won up there. He was footballer of the year, wasn't he? Up there as well. And here's a free kick for Crystal Palace as they trail by a goal to 0. Champions League football for you tomorrow. As I mentioned, Bruges or Brugge against Manchester City, Atletico against Liverpool, it's a juicy one that Wednesday. Manchester United against Atalanta. Friday, Arsenal's next Premier League game against the Villa, we have that on 5 Live. Saturday, Everton against Watford, big week. It's offside. Late flag, as we become accustomed to seeing. Porto Odsonne Edouard, free kick to Arsenal, just outside their own penalty area. Lost just one of the past 8 meetings with Crystal Palace, but only won one of the last 6 games in the league, and they failed to win on each of the last 3 occasions they've hosted the Palace here.
Interesting stat which I read earlier today. Aubameyang on Monday nights, he likes his Monday nights. Have you got that, Jonathan? Can I call you Jonathan?
Not really, no. Just call me sir. And 7 goals in 8 Premier League appearances.
8 in 9. 8 in 9 now.
Oh, of course it is, yeah.
He scored tonight, I don't know whether you noticed.
Very good at maths as well. You've got everything, haven't you? Now here's Milivojevic for Palace. And Ayew collects out wide to the left-hand side. Mitchell has it. And Milivojevic. I wonder how many people were in this ground tonight were at Ewood Park, I think it was, pretty sure, 25 years ago last week, Arsene Wenger's first game in charge. Arsenal played Blackburn. Arsenal won 2-0, Ian Wright got both goals. Chris Sutton was there. Patrick Vieira was there. I was there commentating on the game. I don't know how many other people were there that night, Chris.
I can imagine 2 of you had a really good afternoon.
Well, I asked you this question. You were so impressed with your own performance that night. You said he didn't play, which actually I mentioned in the commentary, but in a sort of different sense. Here's MacArthur for Crystal Palace, left-hand side, down by the commentary flag. Pepe did well on the spin, didn't he? To clear it away. And Smith Rowe's clearance, though, drops to Anderson. Palace 1-0 down, but having a decent spell of possession right now. Ward, Milivojevic, and here's Anderson. Good signing he was from Lyon, having had a fine season on loan at Fulham last season, the best player I think, even though he couldn't keep them up. Now this row, left-hand side, comes back then to Gay. He finds Ward, centre circle, looks out to the right, side puts the ball out towards that right-hand side and takes the return. Finds Anderson again, number 16, tall Day. Finds Gay. Line boots out towards Mitchell. Mitchell sees the run of Edouard. So also, unfortunately for Crystal Palace, the run was seen by White and Arsenal cleared away. Pepe's tried another little bit of cute football deep inside his own half. Risky's given it away. Palace have it again. Gay, they trail by a goal to 0. Gay, left-hand touchline. Back towards MacArthur. Right foot expansive ball, diagonal up towards Benteke. Benteke's header away to Ayew on that right-hand side that bounces away from the Arsenal. Have a throw. They haven't pushed on, have they, Arsenal, from 1-0 up?
No, and a couple of times Crystal Palace had the ball. Arsenal very deep, Aubameyang dropping in on MacArthur, trying to stop him playing, but Arsenal 4-3-3 without the ball and just haven't been able to get up the pitch, but that's down to the Crystal Palace press. And they've done that this season under Patrick Vieira. Really pressed the ball high. Good little spell for them.
Aubameyang the scorer. Saka, he got tagged by MacArthur. Good use of the advantage by the referee playing on. Saka stayed down. Mike Dean's had a little check on him. Arsenal have it with Aubameyang. Bends a lovely diagonal to Pepe from left to right, but as he tried to bring it down, so Mitchell got the challenge and then got it away, and the danger's over, and Saka's on his feet on the far side. Arsenal scoring tonight for just the 6th time in their opening 8 league games, the fewest at this stage of the season since 1986. They've had unwanted records, especially on this ground, in the last couple of seasons. They couldn't win here last season for such a long time. Actually got it going. Tierney tries to win it back against Ayew. He doesn't. Thought he was fouled, but Saka picks up the loose ball. Smith Rowe driving on, shoots low, and Devante Guaita driving to his right-hand side makes a comfortable set.
Tenacious Tierney all over Ayew. And Ayew eventually slips, and it's a really incisive piece of play. Saka into Smith Rowe, who does slip when he shoots 24 yards out centrally. Easy save for Guaita.
Teke and Edouard times make it look like a 4-4-2 with Ayew on the right hand side. It's shaped like that now. It's a lovely ball over the top by Partey, looking for Pepe. And on the extreme left hand corner of the box, Guaita reaches high above his metre 91 frame and pulls the ball down. And Milivojevic has it in the heart of the Palace midfield, his 150th game for the club. The Serbian international involved in the recent games. Anderson, then towards Skate. And he finds McCarthy. You know what you're going to get with James McCarthy every game he plays. An injury last season, up until then he played 81 games in a row. Player in his early 30s he was then, he's now 33. It was a great run. Here's Gallagher for Palace, looking to get the ball in behind. Edward has it, little check back here, rolls it to the edge of the box. Gallagher arriving, promising for Palace. He swivels, he shoots, and it's pulled down out of the air easily by Ramsdale.
Tell you what, they're growing into this game, Crystal Palace. Good play, good little pocket of space Gallagher picks up on the right hand side, and a run from Hudson-Edouard in behind Gabriel. It's not a good pass to Conor Gallagher. Too much pace on it. He can't take the shot on first time. Takes a couple of touches, swivels with the left foot on the edge of the box, but comfortable for Ramsdale.
Going back to that Wenger first game at Blackburn, Lee Dixon told me a long time ago, when he went in at half-time, their first half-time team talk by Wenger, he didn't say anything for 8 minutes, I think it was, just stood there, and they didn't know what to make of it. But, you know, used to a manager cajoling or ranting or whatever, he was very, very quiet. I think it was 8 minutes, something like that.
Was he fluent in English then?
He was, yeah. I think he was fluent in about 4 or 5 languages. Different style, but what a wonderful success rate he had here. And here's Smith Rowe now for Arsenal, 10 yards outside the box, rolls to his right hand side. Big walls of shoot. Partey did shoot his own player, Aubameyang. Gallagher has it for Palace on their right hand side. Back then towards Joel Ward.
Yes, I mean, you know, it's an interesting point you make about Arsene Wenger there. Normally, in an English dressing room, the hairdryer came out if things weren't going well.
And then Teke for Crystal Palace won it very, very deep. Tried to swing across field, switch away towards Ayew on the right. Intercepted there then by Crystal Palace. Tierney goes to clear it and pushes it long, high to the edge of the box, and Guaita got there. I think that he was so quiet, he didn't know what to say. He was absolutely stunned by the pathetic performance by Blackburn and their centre forward that night. That's not me saying that, you know that is, don't you?
Yeah.
That's George sending in, producer. I think it's about time we had an adult conversation with young George. Now, it's put away, here's Pepe.
And I'm surprised you're still talking after your little coffee mishap earlier. George didn't put the top on your coffee properly, did he? Where did that end up?
In my lap. It's some unfortunate stains on the trousers. It makes me, well, I am of an age. Here's Gabriel, who has it on there just outside the penalty area. 25 gone, 1-0. Arsenal lead. You can't get the production staff these days, Chris. White brings it out now for Arsenal. Centre circle. Pepe's waiting on the right hand side, a little dummy, so it rolls on to Smith Rowe. Covered a lot of ground, wandering free, gets down the right hand side, cross lofted to the far side, hung up into the air, cleared away by Ward. Tierney between the penalty box and the far left hand touchline. Very good, consistent Scottish international, part of that very good recent couple of performances. He's to the dead ball line now. He tries to squeeze across in off balance under pressure he was from Anderson, and the cross Lapcow and dribbles through to Guaita. He's just picked himself up. Did he hit the advertising board and then he slid in?
Yeah. Such an all-in guy, Kieran Tierney. You know what you're going to get every time he crosses that white line. So committed.
I watched that. I watched the Israel, the 3-2. What an atmosphere that was the other day. Scotland needed, what, a couple more points and they'd be in a playoff position, maybe 3.
Moldova next, haven't they? The big Aussie bailing them out, Lyndon Dykes.
He's Gay for Crystal Palace, broad-shouldered centre half, short-sleeved, Crystal Palace away strip, all short sleeves, so MacArthur has yellow Under Armour. And here's Ayew on that right hand side. Too many of them with the Under Armour. Benteke has got it on, and Mitchell as well, I believe. I know how sorely parents felt about FA diktat that you had to have the same colour Under Armour. Even at junior football, here's Benteke, good swivel, good turn, gets the shot away in the D, and it's easily gathered by Aaron Ramsey. Do you know that's a big chance for Crystal Palace, that?
Yes, a clever pass from MacArthur into Benteke. I think it's Gabriel just lets him turn, takes a touch, stops the ball with the sole of his boot. Christian Benteke turns round, gets a left foot shot off, should do better. Just choked on it a little bit, didn't he? And Ramsdale got down to his left hand side.
The defence just melted around him.
Retreated.
Stuck out wide towards the right. All the parents thought that Rooney had to play the same colour body armour, and body armour's expensive. Unfair ruling, but there you are. Football moves on. In the days when I had to play in rugby boots, Chris, it really suited my skill as a football right back. It's a free kick on the halfway line. Edward was fouled, was he there? Meanwhile, there's a little bit of treatment. What's going on here? Mitchell, no, I think he's just been given some fluid by the member of the medical staff. Mike Dean's having a little check on him.
Is he taking a bang in the mouth, and maybe his mouth is bleeding?
So
and that's what Mike Dean. I think he's being a bit pernickety there, isn't he? He's sipping some water and spitting it out.
Explaining the situation to Patrick Vieira. What a wonderful trio of Frenchmen they had here. Petit, Vieira, Henry. Unbelievable, talented. Bergkamp, one of the best I've ever seen. A big Dutchman. There's a free kick for Crystal Palace. And all Arsenal fans remember '98 when Arsenal won the World Cup for France, they say. The same way that West Ham won the World Cup for England in '66. Hammers fans, Palace have a free kick just outside the box. 5 wide from the BBC. 1-0. The Arsenal lead. Aubameyang scored. It seems a long time ago now, that goal. Milivojevic will take this free kick. So who's in the box? Well, Benteke's there, of course. Kay's up from the back. Anderson's in a good position. Arsenal partially man marking, partially zonal. And no, Anderson's got a march here on Gabriel. Gabriel standing 3 yards off Anderson. If he's supposed to be marking him, or is he supposed to be marking Ayew, who's now pressed up on him? But no one seems to be picking up big Anderson. And he's a free kick. Milivojevic will look for the Dane, perhaps, who's jogging towards the near post area. Well, he flashed the free kick in low, aiming for him. It wasn't a good one, and there to block was Odegaard for Arsenal to get it away.
On zonal there, Arsenal and Anderson. Guys, must be 6'3", 6'4", left all alone. The delivery being better. Palace haven't threatened enough in this opening 30 minutes. Had the effort from Benteke on the turn, but nothing clear cut as of yet.
MacArthur has it, looks wide to the left hand side. This is where Zaha would normally be, of course. And Odsonne-Edouard gets nearly into the box. In the end, Takahiro Tomiyasu got the block in. Palace have possession back, and they've had a lot of the ball, but they hit us. Chris was saying, I'm looking down on my notes, how many efforts have they had? Gallagher, the one that was easily saved. Benteke, the one that was easily saved. MacArthur. And here's Milivojevic, left of centre, just inside the Arsenal. Misplaces the side foot pass. Partey, a little deflection away of MacArthur, carries it for a throw to Arsenal. MacArthur got a knock there. Don't know whether it was the follow through of Partey's boot. MacArthur limps away, made of stiff stuff, the Glaswegian. Comes out from January onwards with a heel injury. That ended that long, consistent run. Scottish international. One of my favourite players in the Premier League over the last 4 or 5 years, him, I have to say. Big fan of him. Always puts it in. Puts in a great shift.
It's been an important player for Roy Hodgson, of course, but Patrick Vieira this season.
I remember at Ewood Park that day, I was asked by a Blackburn fan, do you have any favourites in the Blackburn side, and I said, yes, I actually do. James Beattie, and Tierney has it now for Arsenal on the halfway line, forces it through, and out comes Gallagher to block. Misplaced pass, they've lost their way, haven't they, Arsenal, Chris?
A little bit scruffy, Arsenal.
The challenge there by Aubameyang is actions as if to say, come on, let's get back on top again. He tracked back into his own half, won the ball. His goal separates the side, head at the far post after Guaita had done well to spring and parry a curling effort from Pepe. But apart from that, Arsenal really haven't greatly threatened. There was the Smith Rowe effort that was saved. And here's Tomiyasu, Japanese international, just back from duty against Saudi and Australia. They're struggling, Japan. They're third in the group. They're behind second place Australia by 3 points, I think. They could go out. World Cup without Japan. Be a surprise. He's second. Now, little cross into the box low by Odegaard. Cleared by Crystal Palace. Left-hand side, Arsenal have a throw. 5 yards inside the Palace half. Thrown back then to Gabriel. Takes it under control. Right foot then back to his preferred left. Odegaard looks better in there than he did in a higher position at Brighton just before the break. Really struggled down there. It was anonymous.
I think that Palace have just tweaked things in the middle of the park when they're out of possession. Conor Gallagher dropping in alongside Milivojevic and MacArthur. They're playing a narrow three, and Arsenal haven't been so fluent through there in the last 10 or 15 minutes.
The pressure there on Aubameyang on Guaita. Two hearts in mouths. Palace fans standing in that far quadrant of the ground as we look across to them. A little bit quiet at the moment. We trail by goal to nil. 33 minutes gone. This busy week of football on 5 Live, and don't forget the Rugby Union Weekly coming up after us with Chris Jones and Danny Kerr and Eddie Jones. And here's Joel Ward to Ayew on that right hand side. Not seen a lot of him. MacArthur slips the ball 5 yards to his left. Gay has it halfway inside the Arsenal half. It wasn't a good ball by Gay, but it's broken anyway to Tyrick Mitchell. Pulls it back edge of the box. Edouard! Well, he had room to get the shot away. He swiveled again and left foot lifted it over as he leant off the ball.
Yeah, but it's a forward pass into Benteke, and Partey reads the play well, but he's careless with his touch, and Mitchell's onto it like a flash, drives through the byline, pulls it back to Odsonne-Edouard, 13-14 yards out level with the near post. Ramsdale takes a touch and he hooks it well over the bar. Had that been on his other foot, I tell you, I would have fancied the back of the net to bulge. His weaker left foot. There was a chance though for Crystal Palace.
They're not exactly asking questions of the Arsenal defence. More like Arsenal are providing them with the answers to the riddles.
Absolutely, just careless from Partey.
Anderson has it. White boots, tall, sandy head, Danish defender. Is Gay. He's almost a minute this season. Anderson forward. Little layoff by Benteke. To Edward. Benteke was off and running, looking for a ball played over the top. Edward with the carry into the D, into the penalty area, pushes too far to the left hand side, looking for Tyrick Mitchell. Pass had too much pace on it when there was another opportunity just to slip it into Benteke. Mitchell has it, yarding from the left hand touch. Now back it comes in. MacArthur 10 yards deeper, and just inside the Arsenal half is Gay. He turns the ball 10 yards away to the right. Anderson. Listen to 5 Live, 10 minutes left in the half, 1-0 Arsenal lead. Ward comes forward on a diagonal run. He's halfway inside the Arsenal half, finds MacArthur. MacArthur having another steady game, out wide then to Mitchell. Edwards showing for the ball, has it, back to MacArthur. MacArthur has a look up, squeezed the ball back to Edward, wasn't ready for it to come, and Smith Rowe nutmegs MacArthur as he goes away from him down the right hand side, then makes the run across the body of the Palace defender who fouled him. Referee Mike Dean playing advantage again. Arsenal don't get it, but by that stage Mike Dean thinks he's given them enough time in that phase of possession, doesn't blow again, and Partey's got a brilliant challenge to stop Ayew in full flow. Palace have a throw on the far side, and I think Mike Dean's going to go back and revisit the foul by MacArthur and give him a little ticking off.
Yeah, he hasn't booked him. I don't think that necessarily deserved a booking. I thought Smith Rowe was in control of the situation, just decelerated and took the hit. It's a poor touch from Odsonne-Edouard, and Smith Rowe, little nutmeg. MacArthur gets back, Smith Rowe sees him coming.
Aubameyang's 91st goal in 156 games for Arsenal separates the sides. 1-0 they lead. Crystal Palace have had a lot of possession in the last 15 minutes. Mitchell into the box. Benteke back to goal. Again holds it up, prods it into the penalty. Ben White got a knee out and cleared it away, and it's a foul. Oh, offside anyway, offside.
Well, the Eagles haven't quite landed yet, but they're getting there. They've got a foothold in this game. Went down early to the Aubameyang goal, but they're controlling the game now against Arsenal. Just haven't created enough, and maybe it's that final pass we just saw. Odsonne-Edouard, good drive through the centre, got away from Thomas Partey, and that final ball to Tyrick Mitchell, who was marauding on the left-hand side, was misplaced. Haven't been careful enough in the final third yet, Palace.
We spent 58 million in the summer. Arsenal spent 73. Will Hodgson would have loved to have had that 58 million in his last 18 months in charge. Brought in Gay and Edouard and Olise and Hughes, who the player but hasn't hit the ground running at Crystal Palace yet. Smith Rowe for Arsenal. A little slip down below us. The rain, is it? I think it might be just a little bit of drizzle, is it? No, I think the rain is completely stopped. Heavy rain about an hour and a half ago. Cleared then by Ramsdale. It's made a difference for Arsenal at the back. Big presence, the England squad man. Partey, centre midfield for Arsenal. Into the feet of the summer signing from Real Madrid, Odegaard. Back it goes then to
offside. It's gone so early. They've just lost the way, haven't they? Arsenal not keeping possession of the ball well. You just sense the unrest around the stadium as well.
Something in this for Palace, isn't there, if they carry on like this?
And what we do know about Palace this season is they can come from behind. It's West Ham, last time out against Leicester, saw that game. They were desperately unlucky to go 2 down.
And here's Edouard Gallagher out towards the far side. Conor Gallagher, good player, speaks well as well about the game. Articulate, bright, confident young man. That far corner area, but he was well guarded by Odegaard. Tierney now slips it back into the box, and Gabriel swings a left foot languidly and clears.
They've all the players behind the ball, Arsenal, 30 yards from their own goal, and that clearance from Gabriel just hooks forward, and it's Palace picking the ball up.
They've become the better side in the game, certainly the more dominant side in possession, but what can they create? MacArthur back to Milivojevic, holding a little bit deeper, London centre midfield. Out wide to Mitchell, then the left fullback, who spoons across into the box. Benteke reaches for it, heads it back, but Arsenal's Aubameyang was there to clear. Palace come again, once more. As Chris was saying, they cannot get out. Ayew on the right-hand side bends the cross in, and White coming in behind Benteke. There was contact, no penalty appeal. Arsenal clearing as far as Mitchell. Heavy touch by him, and away by Tomiyasu. Scrappy now.
And Saka staying a little bit higher up the pitch. I mean, it's unusual that Arsenal don't have a focal point. Pressing the ball hard now, though.
I think Aubameyang's okay after he had that injury problem. Seems to be walking okay, but we're not seeing a lot of him in action, not finding him. Palace have it once again. Conor Gallagher, right of centre in the midfield, just inside the Arsenal half. Awkward ball for Ayew to control, takes it neatly, and he's fouled as he gets away. It's a yellow card for Thomas Partey. Not Thomas Partey, it was Saka, wasn't it? Saka, I think. Saka.
It's a little bit harsh. Gallagher outside of the right boot into Ayew. Oh, well, having said that, on second looks, I think Mike Dean's right there. I think it was deliberate from Saka just to clip Ayew's heels. Not like he hacked him down.
Free kick 10 yards inside the Arsenal half, just right of centre. Fans begin to flood out for their half-time cup of tea. Milivojevic into the box, good rise there by Anderson. Arsenal half cleared away, and Saka's fouled in the D by MacArthur, and now one or two of the Arsenal players get a little bit heated with the challenge, and I think Gay was involved as well, and having a few words in there, and there's a yellow card for MacArthur's foul.
Is it not an accident?
I thought it was. If there was anything in either of those challenges merited a yellow card.
I thought the Saka one, when you see it again, it was a deliberate act to bring him down. You see Tierney heads the ball, loops up. Oh, but I think MacArthur's setting himself for a volley. Let's have a look. Oh, loops up. Oh, yeah, that's a yellow.
That's a yellow.
And that's one of your hacks. That
I think Mike Dean has made two terrific decisions for those yellow cards. Yeah, he was waiting for the ball to drop. He swung a mighty right foot to volley it.
That's a bit naughty, that, from McCarthy, your favourite player, or one of your favourite players.
You see,
can see why. Why are they all going for a pie now?
I don't know. I mean, especially with the price of the pies all around the country, football grounds.
Well, there's a few minutes left, isn't there? They'll be added on time. Why would you do that? I don't know.
No. Youngster going out there with a Arsenal yellow and blue hoodie as he departs. Look at this. Flooding out at 1-0 up. Must be some pies here, I tell you. Do they do quinoa sandwiches here on rye or crisp bread?
These days, it's all changed, hasn't it?
It is. You have to be an athlete, though, to have run the 5 London marathons. How many of us in the commentary position here? Hands up who've run the 5. Just me now. And it's the pavements of London, it has to be said, Chris, have never quite recovered. Millions have been spent repairing the cracked pavements.
That's some feat.
Nearly, yes, I know. I didn't make comment. Nearly arrested on one of those marathons. Long story, I'll tell you another day. And then by Ramsdale on the angle. 1-0 the Arsenal lead. Smith Rowe battling for it. Back it comes then to Odegaard. And Gabriel, and Saka's about to come on with his calf sore, I would imagine. Yeah, he's limping as he comes back on the field. That's a concern for Arsenal. Ayew now has possession for Palace. Right hand side, 2 yards in from the far touchline. Good run here, 5-10 yards, and he's deflected it off Gabriel with a smasher across, and means that Crystal Palace have a corner kick on their right hand side, and Milivojevic, their dead ball taker, will go across and take it.
Yes, Thomas Partey really careless in possession, and Palace were away. And I think Arsenal need half-time to regroup.
So, corner kick for Crystal Palace. Milivojevic will take it. High, loft and bend, and look at Benteke's header back across goal. That's offside. MacArthur's shot is saved, but the flag is up. In comes the rebound from Milivojevic that goes wide, but the flag had already gone up, and it's a free kick for offside.
Yeah, it was an outswinger, and Benteke gets up well. Towering header back across, and the flag right.
Into the 3 minutes of stoppage time here. The Arsenal leading by a goal to 0. Flood of people going out for the half-time cup of tea, or Bovril has just ebbed a little bit. Now it's going to be a goal kick that Ramsdale will take. Plunges it into the Palace half. Anderson rises, heads it out then to Odsonne Edouard. A couple of touches to bring under control. A little flick ball with the outside of the boot by Milivojevic through the middle. Edward making ground to take the return from Benteke. Progressive here for Crystal Palace. To the right hand side, Ayew again takes on Tierney on the outside. Bashes his crossing just too far ahead of Benteke. The Palace were definitely knocking on the door there. It is a throw in for Arsenal. That's a good move.
I tell you what, Edouard has played really narrow off that left hand side the last 15 or so minutes. Picks up the second ball, plays the ball out to Ayew, who whips in the cross. Kieran Tierney needs to get closer. and Benteke, he's not far off that. Flashes across the 6-yard line. Benteke, what, a few inches, Jonathan?
Just couldn't get there, could he? Smith Rowe for Arsenal over the top for that back. After Aubameyang had challenged for the ball on the halfway line. The Arsenal goal scorer, Tomiyasu, meanwhile, the right back, rises just here down below us on the right touch, and no more than 30 yards ahead of us. And all has gone out of play, and Patrick Vieira applauds his side for the press, and they take a throw with Mitchell back then towards Gay. Aubameyang pressurising him, slants it to his goalkeeper, takes it on the instep of his right boot and slips it into MacArthur. Smith Rowe was pressing, no one else was. Not a high press there from Arsenal with enough bodies, and Palace can play out again.
Palace have been the better football team, haven't they, in this first half? They've looked slicker. You know, we talk about all the Arsenal attacking players, technical players, but they haven't kept the ball well.
And here's Mitchell down the left-hand side to Edouard, yarding from the touchline, 3 yards from the dead ball line, bounces it off the Japanese international right back Tomiyasu, and it's going to be a corner kick for Crystal Palace again.
He's had a pretty decent first half, Odsonne Edouard. I think Palace have had more joy on the left-hand side. There's no Wilf Zaha, but he's done okay in this first half. Carried a threat.
Corner kick for Crystal Palace. Retaken by Milivojevic, right-footed, hooks it into the middle. The goalkeeper was blocked off, but got there. Gallagher fizzes the rebound forwards, and it's parried away. Good save by the goalkeeper. You might have seen it late. Is he blown for half-time? Who's he going to allow the corner to be taken?
Palace are asking for something here.
They're asking for a penalty, I think.
What a save that is. What a strike from Conor Gallagher.
They're asking for a penalty for a push on Gay, but it's not going to come. We're going to see no more action. That's the half-time whistle blown. Brilliant effort by Gallagher, pushed away by Ramsdale, and Gallagher looks to the skies as if to think, well, is this going to be our night? Because we played probably better than Arsenal and had no joy. Off they go with the headed goal by Aubameyang. The difference between the sides, striker's instinct at one end, and really there's been no striker's instinct at the other end from Palace's point of view.
No, Arsenal, good start, got the early goal, but then Palace really worked their way back into this game, controlled the first half in the main, and Conor Gallagher on the stroke of half-time, he has hit that absolutely flush for 18 yards out, and Ramsdale, really important save, full stretch to his left-hand side, tips it round the post. But thinking for Mikel Arteta, I think here Arsenal need to regroup at half-time. Crystal Palace, I think Patrick Vieira will be saying, do you know what, well played guys, but it's the final ball. You know, that last pass, but you know, we carry on playing this way, we are well in this game.
And we're almost ready to kick off the second half. Have we got any changes out there? Yeah, Sambi Lokonga's going to come on for Arsenal, the holding midfield player, and there's no Saka for the start of the second half. Got that injury right at the end of the first period. That's a bit of a concern for them then. And on comes Sambi Lokonga, holding midfield player. They signed him in the summer, and he'll go in with Thomas Partey, and there'll be a different role, I would imagine, now for maybe in the heart of their midfield, the likes of Martin Odegaard. We'll wait and see. Anyway, Arsenal 1-0 up, kicking us off and underway in the second half, in the red and white with the white shorts and the white and red hooped socks, with Ramsdale in goal, Tomiyasu white, Gabriel and Tierney, and we think that Sambi Lokonga will go in with Partey, and then you've got Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Pepe on the right, and Aubameyang up front. Crystal Palace in the yellow with the red and blue single stripe, and the yellow socks with Guaita in goal, Ward, Anderson, Gay and Mitchell their back four. Break off because Arsenal on the attack, right hand side of the penalty area. Pepe lays it back. Here's Odegaard, squeezes the pass out wide to Tomiyasu. His cross is deflected. Gallagher heads it away. Pressure still on here from Arsenal on 5 Live. And Smith Rowe nudged it to Tierney, left hand side of the penalty area. Back it comes into Sambi Lokonga. He'll work his socks off all day long. Just lacks a little bit of positional discipline, perhaps, but he's a young player. Saw a lot of him playing in continental football. He has it back again in towards Partey. Let me continue that Palace side. MacArthur, Milivojevic and Gallagher, midfield three, and then Ayew and Edouard supporting Benteke through the middle. At times, so they switch to a 4 with Ayew on the right hand side. He's dropped back very defensive. When they don't have the ball, he drops back very defensively on that right. The cross into the heart of the penalty area and shoveled away from Joachim Andersen. So what do you make of the change, Chris? A little bit of concern for Arsenal that Saka hasn't reappeared?
Yep, it was maybe the challenge from MacArthur on Saka, where he hacked Saka down on the edge of his own box, and obviously the change, Sambi Lokonga coming on and Smith Rowe come out to the left-hand side. Such a versatile player on the ball now. Lokonga playing, Sambi Lokonga playing centrally.
He finds Tierney, back in then towards Partey. He drives and what a curve and a brilliant effort, just wide.
It's Kieran Tierney, left-hand side, pops the ball to Thomas Partey. I tell you what, Reiter's not saving that. The bend and the dip he gets on it, it is inches past Reiter's far post, all of 30 yards out. That would have been an absolute stunner. Reiter threw himself at full stretch, nowhere near it.
But Gallagher has it, easy for me to say, on the right hand side for Crystal Palace. Bends the ball, he's looking for Benteke, it was too near goalkeeper Ramsdale, he clears it away, looking for his 5th clean sheet in his first 6 games for Arsenal. That's a good start, isn't it? And he has added something in there, presence in there maybe. Ben Leno didn't have, should do. He's an experienced goalkeeper. Maybe communication improved, I don't know, but he's made a difference, that's for sure. Tomiyasu now linking up with Partey, too much weight on the pass. What have you made of Ramsdale in an Arsenal shirt, Chris?
Do you know what? I was surprised when I saw him get the nod over Leno. Wasn't really convinced it'd be the best signing, but Mikel Arteta sees him every day in training and put him in for a reason. I think since he's gone in, I do think that Arsenal seem to look more confident at the back, and a large part of that is down to him, his communication maybe, but the saves he's made as well. It's a start.
It is a start. Start of the second half here is 3, nearly 4 minutes old, and Arsenal still lead with that first half effort by Aubameyang. And a couple of efforts since then. The Partey one wide moments ago, Smith Rowe in the first half, but that's it. And they've given the ball away. Partey dispossessed by Benteke into the box and shoots and scores, and Crystal Palace are level, and Arsenal made an absolute gift of it. Conceded possession, Benteke took it up, boldly round to the edge of the Arsenal box, under control, and it was neat and tight control, gave himself the angle to get the shot away, and that's his first goal since he netted against Arsenal back in May.
Yeah, Partey pooper gives the ball away, and Benteke does so well, really composed, drives, but Gabriel, the Arsenal centre-half, little shift to his right-hand side, is 13 yards out centrally and hammers the ball into the far corner. No chance for Ramsdale, composed from Benteke, but Thomas Partey, not for the first time this evening, giving the ball away. Benteke finds the back of the net, and do you know what? It's the least Palace have deserved.
Really well taken goal. 18 months ago that would have ended up in the stands, but that purple patch he had last season, Benteke, turned his career around at Selhurst Park again, earned him a new contract, 2-year extension. He had a good season last season, reached double figures, best for a long while, and he's off and running this season with his first of the campaign. Pepe for Arsenal down the right hand side, banging into his own teammate over there on the touchline, Tomiyasu. They come out with the ball, the Arsenal, and it's cleared away again though by Mitchell. Thoroughly deserved by the Palace.
And is it fair to say not a typical Benteke goal where he actually took a defender on? Good shift of the ball. Could Gabriel have done better? I think so, but as soon as he got that yard one-on-one, such a confident finish, he absolutely buried it. Ramsdale, no chance. You can hear the Arsenal fans trying to galvanise their team and lift their team, but it's Palace who have been the dominant team after the first 10 minutes in this game.
Milivojevic back heel to Ayew. Now MacArthur has deep inside his own half. Plays the ball through the middle, centre circle. There's a bump from Partey on the back of Edouard. Should have been a foul. Not given. And Partey away towards Pepe on the right hand side. He takes on his man MacArthur, who's left there with him, but doubling up now is Mitchell, who got his ground back, and Pepe can't beat the two of them, and MacArthur wins it back for Palace, keeps it in play and finds the left back Mitchell, who chips it down that right hand side looking for Odsonne Edouard. 1-1, 51 minutes gone on 5 Live. Great to hear from the boys, Johnny Murray and ABB at half time. Wonderful games coming up. Wonderful move for Arsenal perhaps. Well, I'll tell you what, there's a cross into the middle and Arsenal fans thought that Aubameyang was impeded in there. It was Ben White who got all the way forward to get the cross in, but Benjamin White, as Chris was telling me earlier on, I don't think it was a foul anyway. And interesting to hear from ABB in Bruges, Brugge. I've been told by UEFA I've got to call it Brugge when we're doing a game for the World Commentary.
I mean, you're far better connected than Bruce Ball, so I'm with you on that, Jonathan. Maybe we'll try and get the message across, but I think he's out in a local Brugge
bars. He's having a Brugge bar beer, and there's a lot of them over there. I went into a little bar once when they were playing Chelsea, and there were 72 different beers in this bar.
And how many did you try?
Just the sparkling water for me that night. Tierney, back it comes then to Sambi Lokonga, and he's swung the ball up towards that right hand side, and it's picked up again by an Arsenal player over there, and just a little ball off by Odegaard back to Sambi Lokonga again. Now he finds Smith Rowe on the edge of the penalty, trying to burrow his way through. Stopped by a good challenge. Was it a foul?
It was Smith Rowe, really sharp turn on the edge of the box, took it well and then took another touch, and Anderson had a very, very solid game, read the situation and just pinched the ball off him. Just seeing the Benteke goal once again. Thomas Partey took too long on the ball, and it's that Palace high press, and maybe a feature of the game we didn't see with Roy Hodgson, a bit more defensive minded, which created that opportunity, or the goal for Palace.
They come looking for a second here. Edward has it 10 yards outside the Arsenal half. Back it goes to Milivojevic, who's pulled the strings in there for Palace in midfield, and the Wolves trying to find Conor Gallagher on the right hand side, finds his pass just deflected away by Smith Rowe. As Benteke went into the box there, Gabriel got squared up against the runner. He couldn't change his balance. Benteke just shifted to the right. It was too easy, Chris, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Expect better. No, it wasn't like it was a trick or anything. You know, Benteke predominantly right-footed, but as soon as he got that shift, he squared him up. Then it was a very comfortable finish. But in that situation, as a defender, I think he'd have been better served to try and show Benteke on his weaker left foot and try and send him away from goal, or make the angle more difficult on his right foot. He was never going to miss that.
Ayo has it, the yard in from the right hand touchline for Crystal Palace, then back to Ward, and here's Anderson, right footed, square across the line of his defence to his centre back partner Gay, and it goes back towards Authentic White, in towards MacArthur. Plenty of time, press was late for Arsenal, finds Ward, Gallagher in space, halfway line, trundles into the Arsenal half. Right hand touchline is foul. Strikes the pass into Edouard. Gallagher felt that he was offside, so therefore couldn't progress. Not too sure whether he would have been. And meanwhile, all the goal kick is given as once again Partey just dawdles inside his own box under pressure from Benteke. Could have caused some problems again there.
The difference between the two sides is Palace out of possession when they do press. They pinch the ball back off Arsenal. When Arsenal press, they seem to be late, and Palace play around them very, very easily.
Tierney, right from the right hand side, deep inside his own half. 1-1, 5 Live. The Champions League tomorrow, double header. Bruges, Man City, Brugge, Man City, Atletico Madrid against Liverpool. And Manchester United, Atalanta on Wednesday. Palace attacking again. Edouard with the run towards the edge of the penalty. A little step over it. Ricochets away to Ayew inside the D. Explodes the shot and it's pushed over by Ramsdale. That was fizzing.
It wasn't. Edouard, positive play once again. Palace win the ball back on the halfway line. Edouard nothing on, drives into the box, and as the ball is actually tackled, Ayew centrally 19-20 yards out, hammers a shot, and Ramsdale tips it over. It was Palace in the ascendancy, Palace asking the questions.
Corner kick for Palace. I wonder how many corners they've had in the game now. Must have been, I've lost count. In comes the corner kick from Milivojevic, edge of the D. Pepe's there to head it away as he spun through the air. Milivojevic keeps the ball in play. In his lime green boots, holding Smith Rowe at bay and forcing another throw off Aubameyang, who's seen very little of the ball since he scored for Arsenal back in the first half. 1-1 the score. Game that Arsenal historically did so well. I remember Palace coming here one year, Ian Wright had to go into the Arsenal, and they relegated Palace the last day of the season, or very late on in the season, I seem to remember. The old battles between the two. Here's Ward, pushes it back then towards Anderson. And back it goes to Gay, chips down the right hand side looking for Ward. Ward's headed down. Here's Ayew between the penalty box and the right hand touchline. 1-1. Back it comes then to Milivojevic, curls the cross in over the head of them all, and Tomiyasu will bring it away now for Arsenal. Look to pump it down that right hand touchline, perhaps. That's what he does to no one. There's no one there at all. He's giving the ball straight back to Palace.
This has happened so much throughout the game. Arsenal so deep defensively, everybody dropping off. Aubameyang trying to get himself attached to the Palace midfield, and when they do retrieve the ball, all they do is end up punting the ball down the pitch, and Palace pick the ball up, and it's another attack from them.
So right at the start of the evening, would we see Arsenal from the first half against Tottenham when they were blistering, or an anemic Arsenal, sort of Arsenal we saw at Brighton for the international break, and that's the team we're seeing here. And Crystal Palace are the better side, and they have possession on their left, and it's a run up from the back by Mitchell, and the shot is way over. Or was it Gay? It was Gay, way over from halfway inside the Arsenal. A little bit of rush of blood to the head there, and it soared over. Cursory glance from Patrick Vieira down, but he scored some good goals in his time.
How Arsenal could do with a Vieira type figure, a leader.
Have they had anything like a leader since he left? Really? Well, he was one of the greats on the football field, leading the team. And Martin Keown speaks really highly of him. You know, if there was ever a spot of bother in the game, Vieira would protect older players. He'd make sure everyone was okay, even from the start. Now Tierney for Arsenal, good combination with Smith Rowe. A little bit unfortunate as he went for the give and go and play it back to Smith Rowe. There's a deflection, carried it away, but Smith Rowe's won it back. His party, diagonal chip far side of the box looking for Pepe. Awkward for him to control. He hopped through the air. Maybe there was a better ball, an easier ball to be played to Martin Odegaard, who was in space on the edge of the penalty. 1-1 it stays approaching now.
Another careless pass from Thomas Partey. I think there was a lot of excitement when he was signed by Arsenal. I have to say, I thought decent signing on paper, but really the performances just haven't been there.
Aubameyang loses possession. Story of Arsenal's game really since they took the lead, nearly won it back. They kept it in play. They know they have to throw to Crystal Palace on the far side.
I think Arsenal, Jonathan, looked like a team of individuals. Crystal Palace, they look slick. They look like a proper team, a well-oiled, organised outfit. And to say, start of the season I was worried about them, but really their performances have deserved more points. Blimey.
White was nearly caught slumbering there by Edward. He's played well, hasn't he, Hodgson Edward?
Yeah, he has done. As I played off that left-hand side for Celtic in the past. Versatile player, can drop in and play as a 10.
Is he trimmer? Is it fair for me to say he's trimmer than he was in his last maybe 2 or 3 months at Celtic? Not last season, I should say. Does he look as if he's a little bit fitter?
There are question marks over his desire and his hunger, whether he had his head turned, but look, you can only judge him on the performance we've seen tonight, and I think he's been very, very good.
Sambi Lokonga, good athlete, a good ball, he slipped someone off it. Still learning though, he's only young, he's 21 years of age, Belgian international, though he wasn't in the Nations League squad. Palace looked long for Benteke, he couldn't get on the end of it, and it's played out fullback style by Ramsdale. Benteke didn't play a part for Belgium in that Nations League either. Arsenal had possession with Benjamin White outside the centre circle. 5 live from the BBC, 1-1, 62 gone. Misplaced ball by Ben White. And Arsenal pass the ball poorly at times. Ben White gets back quickly to try and redeem the situation, but it's hammered long by Takehiro Tomiyasu. He's from the Fukuoka area of Japan, badly hit by the tsunami and the repercussions of that. And during COVID, he provided COVID masks for his former club, I think they were called Avispa, and he sent a lot of masks back there, played his part in the battle, did the Arsenal fullback who's tried to win it back there against Edouard, couldn't do so, but the ball bounced kindly for Arsenal, and now he has it back again. Tomiyasu to the right side, Odegaard, centre circle finds Ben White, opportunities to the left, Tierney's over here. Gabriel doesn't want to use him. Sambi Lokonga finds Smith Rowe instead. Tierney's down that line. Aubameyang comes short. There's no one really with any great heavyweight presence in and around the box. Pepe was up there, but enough yellow shirts back to guard against that. Palace have defended so well, so disciplined, but so easily there again. Right, was he fouled by Benteke? Well, Arsenal go on anyway. There's 63 gone at 1-1. Sambi Lokonga has it. Albert Sambi Lokonga drops the ball at the feet of Partey. Switches to his left, but back to his right. Might shoot with that. Bends it again. Tried that once or twice in the game. Shoots wide. Claims the deflection doesn't come. And Mikel Arteta has seen enough and is calling his substitutes, or one of them, towards it. And we're going to see a change for Arsenal any moment now.
Yeah, Sells Jordan Ayew, a dummy, shapes to shoot from 35 yards, drifts past him, and then gets an effort in, but well wide of Guaita's left-hand post. He's just looking around at the Arsenal players. Smith Rowe's one where you think something might happen, but other than that, there's a lot of the Arsenal players who have gone into a shell, not showing for the ball, lack of confidence. Question about them tonight is, could they produce a performance and carry on that momentum, a little bit of momentum which they've built.
Both sides are going to make a substitute. Lacazette's going to come on for Arsenal, and I think Sheku Kouyaté is going to come on for Crystal Palace. Lacazette will be the first man to make his move. He's just standing down there doing his socks up, and Lacazette, arm on his back, now leans forward and whispers into his ear. 1-1, 64 minutes gone, and it's a lovely run by Gallagher. He was seen by the left full-back. Mitchell's ball had too much carry and straight through into the hands of Aaron Ramsdale, who we've mentioned already today. Talk about the football up and coming. Don't forget the Rugby Union Weekly, which follows us tonight. Chris Jones and Danny Kerr and Eddie Jones. And as I said earlier on, he's a great listener, isn't he, Eddie Jones? And he might not agree with everything he does, but or has done, but terrific listen. Tierney, left-hand side for Arsenal, in then towards Smith Rowe. Back it goes to him. Sambi Lokonga has it. And trying towards the edge of the Crystal Palace penalty area. Plenty of yellow shirts, all of them behind the ball actually. Partey, plumb dead centre, halfway inside the Palace arc, played it forward and groans as it's given away by Odegaard. It's really caught the imagination of the Arsenal fans since he made his low move permanent for £30 million in the summer. This is the 6th league start of the campaign.
Hasn't quite happened for him tonight. I think he'll be the one who goes, really, who's taken off. maybe a tweak of the system. Maybe he'd move Aubameyang out left, Lacazette as a central striker, and Smith Rowe in behind.
Sheffield Kouyaté will come on for Crystal Palace. Lacazette replaces, you were right, of course, Odegaard, and Kouyaté is going to come on for Milivojevic for Palace. What sort of a player is Odegaard? How would you describe him as a player?
An Arsenal player?
Blonde hair? Should we go deeper?
He's a good technician, isn't he? You know, that's what he is. I think physically, does he out of possession, does he have the legs really to get up to people? I'm not so sure he does, but he's a nice footballer. That's what he is. Been put under pressure tonight, though. Credit the Palace midfield. They haven't let him get his head up and have time on the ball. They've stopped him playing.
Well, I thought Arsenal were at their best at Brighton just before the break when Lacazette came on and dropped into deep positions. And he's found it one there, and he's found it Aubameyang in the box on the outside of Anderson. Good defending, stood up. Lacazette tries to get the crowd going. Still feels very much of Arsenal's presence, whether or not they'll play a major part in their future. We'll wait to see. The crowd to our left-hand side has stood up. And the corner kick will be taken by Pepe on the left-hand side. As I look down on the monitor in front of me, because I actually can't see him because of the crowd. It'll swing away from goal, out towards the edge of the 6-yard area. It's cleared away. Pepe gets another chance to get the cross in, then left foot bends the ball into the box, comes out towards White, who hits it, deflected away. Can Pepe keep it in? He settles for the corner kick. Ball's free play, Abner in the middle. Got plenty of time to get there.
I think it was a spinning ball. He was worried about what might have happened.
He'll settle for another corner kick then for the Arsenal with his yellow boots. Jiggles up and down. In comes the cross, low, disappointing, flat, and walloped away by McCarthy. Justifying his reputation as probably one of the best Premier League players over the last decade. A lot of people think that about McCarthy. I'm led to believe. Hands up in the commentary position if they think that's just me then. Anyway, it's Arsenal in possession away towards the left-hand side. Tierney has it, laid off into the penalty by Lacazette. Aubameyang in comes across. And as he came in from the right-hand side by Smith Rowe, gone out there to take up the position vacated by Odegaard. But poor effort from him as he rushed in.
Yep, and he rushed the effort, but Lacazette may have been offside actually when he crossed the ball in. And Smith Rowe just had to steady himself there.
Aubameyang won it back against Ward, but tight to the line, ricocheted away, and Crystal Palace have a throw in.
I've always liked the way that Aubameyang and Lacazette have linked up. You think how many times they've combined an Arsenal jersey and either or scoring, creating. They're a better team, I think, with both of them in.
Mitchell has it for Crystal Palace, who are going to bring on young Olise any moment now. Edouard, Gallagher, back to Edouard. Didn't get the angle right on the return ball, and away by Tomiyasu. 90 goals for the Arsenal. Alexander Lacazette was weighed in with 67. There's a Palace shot from range, goes well wide.
Once again, the Palace press. They are relentless with the press. This time, Odsonne Edouard winning the ball back just outside the Arsenal box. Tomiyasu giving the ball away, and Conor Gallagher is trying to just bend one 23, 24 yards out left-hand side of the box into that far top corner. And gets that all wrong.
Ayew is trudging off down below us, taking his time to allow Michael Olise to come on, the 19-year-old signed from Reading for about £8.5 million, the probably young player of the year last season. Played 54 minutes so far from the bench in 3 substitutes appearances. Got his goal against Leicester. He's such a promising player, and he comes in. Partey for Arsenal, just inside the Palace half. 1-1, 19 minutes to go. Gabriel strides forward. They have improved defensively in terms of clean sheets, but cause worry tonight. They said that's a lovely ball by Aubameyang. Lacazette bent the ball deliciously, and it's parried away by Guaita. One of the best moves of the game. Suddenly Aubameyang and Lacazette combining. The ball in from the Arsenal goal scorer. A lovely ball around the corner. Lacazette arrived and shot low. It's a decent save that.
That's a very, very good save, but it's that link up. They look a threat now, Arsenal going forward. Aubameyang, lovely reverse pass.
Cross from Pepe into the middle, met by a good header away by Gay. Sambi Lokonga out wide towards the right hand side. Pepe has it between the box and the touchline. Back then to Smith Rowe, and Sambi Lokonga is caught in possession, and Palace will break, and they have a 3-on-3. Gallagher left hand side. Olise. Edouard just outside the D and attack the Arsenal penalty area now. Shoots and goes to the back of the net with a thunderous save over the head of Aaron Ramsdale. Arsenal gave it away, and Palace went for the throat, and they got to the throat, and they ripped into a 2-1 lead.
Well, absolutely stunning from Odsonne Edouard. What a piece of business from Crystal Palace. Once again, Arsenal overturned the ball in the middle of the park. Sambi Lokonga this time. Conor Gallagher pokes the ball off him into Olise. Then Gallagher drives down the left-hand side. Olise out to the right-hand side. Odsonne Edouard drives at Gabriel. And then he just puts his laces through the ball. 17, 18 yards out, right-hand side of the box. And there's all sorts of movement in the air. And it's off the underside of the bar and in. Ramsdale no chance. Palace deserve this. Brilliant finish.
Super finish. He had a look, he had another look, and he
Actually uses it. He uses Ben White as a shield and puts it around Ben White. I think Ramsdale is unsighted. He sees it very late, but there's all sorts of movement on the ball. What a finish. They've deserved it though, Jonathan. They really have. They've been the braver side. They've been the better side.
And he has his third goal for Crystal Palace in 5 games. Sleeper Celtic before that in 11. In all his time at Celtic, 88 and 117. A proven goal scoring record. But there seemed to be this poo-poo attitude to goal scoring feats in Scotland, and yet that has become now more and more of a well-trodden path from the Scottish Premiership into English football. And he's certainly silenced the doubters. Should there be a free kick here for Arsenal? Well, they've got one. Lacazette went down just outside the penalty area. Palace are complaining. Mike Dean was right up with the play. Partey slipped it through to Lacazette. He certainly made a difference. Oh, he's caught. He just got caught by Anderson.
Partey into Lacazette, and Lacazette actually gets to the ball first. Anderson makes contact. What a chance this is for Arsenal. Pepe over the ball. It's level with Ramsdale's. Guaita's near post. Suits a left footer. 22 yards out, Jonathan.
I'd say that, yeah. It's midway between that dark strip of turf before it hits another light strip of turf. Each strip of turf is 6 yards wide. So I'd say your mathematics bang on again. Uncanny when you're at West Ham, the way you judge the distance between the commentary position towards the corner flag on the far side. It's wonderful, wonderful. Unerring. It's going to be a free kick in. Who's going to take it? Lacazette going to take it? Pepe involved in the mix? It's going to take this for Arsenal. Both can take a free kick. And the time is a little bit tight for them now. Pepe it is, who winds up, hits the wall, jumps as one. Here's Partey. Will slip chip out wide to Smith Rowe. His cross comes into Pepe, sets up Partey. Better chip into the box. Gabriel! And the header wide.
A poor free kick, the wall jumped as the ball was helped back in. Gabriel 12 yards out, not really the pace on the ball, just crossed in, and Gabriel trying to generate all the pace and heading it well wide. But the former Arsenal legend Patrick Vieira doing a job in his old team.
A lot of Arsenal fans wanted him to take up the reins here when Mikel Arteta was struggling early on in the season, but he'd just taken the job at Palace. Vieira won 3 titles, 4 cups, the Community Shield 3 times as an Arsenal player. He's 406 games, stalks to the near touchline, just ruffles up his trousers and moves towards the halfway line. Different sort of setup at the Emirates from Highbury with that tight, narrow tunnel. The old players' bar used to be on the left-hand side as you went up that tunnel. All very cramped. Here's Tierney, 2 yards in from the left-hand touchline, plays it back then to Sammy Lokonga, takes the return. Palace working prodigiously. Partey, been haphazard at times. Something's good, sloppy in possession on other occasions. 13 to go, 5 live from the BBC on another magnificent week of football on the BBC. But don't forget, you can catch up with so much on the BBC Sounds App. Crystal Palace have possession, and it's Benteke. There's Arsenal, another turnover of possession, too cheap for Mikel Arteta's liking. Palace have it, left-hand touchline. It was Hudson Edouard, back then to Sheku Kouyaté. Did so well last season as a stand-in centre half when they had so many injuries. Ward, right-hand touchline, Olise has it back again. And here's Anderson. Can they get their first away win of the season? Crystal Palace with 12 minutes to go. It's picked up again by Sammy Lokonga. Arsenal have it. Gabriel, centre circle. Has a look. Strokes the ball 2 or 3 yards in towards the feet of Partey. Well, Lacazette was unaware it was coming. Young Tyrick Mitchell was nearly closed and conceded possession. Palace have done just that now. Partey gobbled it up into Lacazette, whose return to Partey this time was ill-advised. And Olise charges down on Tierney and ricochets it deep into the Arsenal half, but Gabriel comes across and covers. And the referee has stopped this because at the other end, Partey is down, and I think Sheku Kouyaté is down as well.
Yeah, it was both players really committed. Partey winning the ball back high up, and Kouyaté launches into a challenge, and he's actually caught in the face with Thomas Partey's right boot. I think it's an accident. I think I saw one there though.
The screens above us show 79 minutes on the clock.
Wonder whether VAR will look at this, Jonathan.
And he's stumbling. Oh, we're seeing something else here on our little screens.
I think we're seeing the movement before. Hudson Edouard's goal. Conor Gallagher.
It's clever, isn't it?
Bringing the ball back, yeah. And then just drives. He drives with the ball. Looks at Ben White, uses him as a shield. And then it's the connection on the ball. It lashes it. And there's all sorts of movement. Underside of the bar, and Ramsdale I think was unsighted.
2-1 Crystal Palace lead. Will this have any effect on your fantasy football team for the podcast and the Thursday night show? Got anyone out here today?
Well, I've got Tierney and Smith Rowe. What I don't want is Benjamin White to score. I'm in a head-to-head league, and I'm just ahead. So as long as Benjamin doesn't score, then I'm okay.
Arsenal going to make a change with 10 to go. Partey's going to come off, and Gabriel Martinelli is going to come on. He's had a little bit of an injury. That's been the story of his Arsenal career, really, since joining from a fourth-tier club, Ichuana. 52 games, 12 goals. He was out from March through to the Christmas of last year with a knee injury. Picked up at Portsmouth in the cup. Here he is, fleet-footed down the left-hand side. Has a look. You know he's got pace to burn and trickery. She wants to play further central. They need him on the left. Tierney. Here's Gabriel. Back out wide then to Martinelli. Rolls in. lifts his head, gets across it, it's stabbed back goalwards, and momentarily for Crystal Palace a few hearts were in mouths. It came off MacArthur, but it was a well-judged pass from MacArthur back to his goalkeeper, because he rarely fails to judge a good pass, McCarthy.
That's perfect. Smith Rowe now moving into a central midfield area. Martinelli out on the left-hand side, Pepe out on the right-hand side, Aubameyang, Lacazette up top.
Roger is going to make one more change, and it's going to be a defensive one, and James Tompkins will come on for the Eagles, and he will replace Odsonne Edouard. So centre half for a striker, only the one appearance this season. This is his first in the league. He played in the Carabao Cup. Only comes another who had injury problems over the last couple of years. He had a career-threatening eye injury last season. And on he comes. And Odsonne Edouard trundles around the far side of the pitch to great ovation from the Palace fans in that far segment of the ground, as they stretch around the Palace fans almost to behind the Arsenal goal. It's going to be a throw to the home side with 7.5 minutes to go.
They've done some great work, haven't they, Palace, in the transfer window over the summer. Edouard, Gallagher, two centre-halves, Anderson, Gahey. They are looking like a really good outfit this season. Credit Patrick Vieira, he's got them well oiled.
Mickey Freeman involved in the transfers as well, has his critics, was greatly admired as a Palace player. They've done very good work in the transfer window, and lots of teams were looking at Gay, and they took the plunge, and lots of teams were looking at Edouard. There was just this doubt. Again, they took the plunge.
Absolutely. And of course, Tompkins coming on now, change of shape for Palace at three centre-halves, 5-4-1 now. Patrick Vieira saying, I'm going to see this one through. You've got four up front, we'll put five at the back.
Also trying to find a way round. Possession with Benjamin White, then to Gabriel. Left-footed ball, side-foot away towards Martinelli. Back to goal, being watched by Olise. You can hear the groans from the fans because Arsenal get it and pass the ball backwards. There's no way Sambi Lokonga was placed in the position he had nothing on. He had to go back to Gabriel to keep possession. And of the ball, he can't come back into the game. Tomiyasu and the groans are becoming yells. And Arsenal fans getting frustrated. And Lacazette has lost possession, and here's Benteke all alone, just holding the Crystal Palace. Back to Cheikhou Kouyaté, and he finds the left full back stretching Mitchell. He couldn't keep the ball in play. Arsenal have a throw. They trail by 2-1, and time is growing tight. Sambi Lokonga. Martinelli comes in off the line to open up a little bit of a gap. Tierney was in that gap, but look at the Palace defence, so rigidly disciplined, and bossed by Joachim Andersen at the back. He's done another fine job for them today. Good performances all around the football field for Crystal Palace, but one of them has been poor really. Here's Gabriel, 5 Live from the BBC. Palace leading by 2-1. Martinelli in off the left-hand touchline, gets an angle for a cross, pops it up towards that far side into Aubameyang. Couldn't get off the ground. A few optimistic calls that he was pulled back, but I don't think he was. In my first view, it's a goal kick.
Why didn't he try and head the ball? Martinelli drifting in from the left touchline on his right foot. Crossing angle, not great, right-footed. Mitchell just does enough to put him off, but he's trying to volley that. Aubameyang even better served to use his head and try and loop the ball back in. Guaita.
Those Arsenal fans to our left-hand side going up to the stand, not going for a cup of tea this time, Chris, as they were 10 minutes left in the first half. They're going, they're leaving early. 4.5 minutes to go. And their side losing by 2-1. And the unbeaten recent run is going to come to an end.
This is a Palace team without arguably their best player, Wilf Zaha.
Which I was saying right at the end, their record without him is, well, it's been well chronicled, is miserable. And he will be delighted more than anyone with this team performance today. Palace From a kid, went away, 400 games for the club now, but unwell, having returned from international duty. Here's White now for Arsenal. 10 yards outside the Palace half, slightly right of centre. Looks for the right-hand touch, and in comes a cross, glanced on by Lacazette, comes all the way through to Tierney to drill it! Oh, it's on the side of the bar, and ricochets away to the far side. Is that the chance? Has it come and gone for Arsenal?
Oh, he has thundered that, Kieran Tierney, off the underside of the bar. It's a cross on the right-hand side, flicked on all the way through. Angle against him, takes one touch, puts his laces through it. Guaita doesn't move, and it hammers off the bar and somehow stays out. Was that the chance for Arsenal?
He had to thunder it as well because there were 3 on the line, so he had to give it some welly. Forward closed by Martinelli, but it's a throw to Crystal Palace, to the exasperation of Mikel Arteta, with his black jacket on and his slate grey slacks, as my granddad would have called them at one stage. Hear that phrase anymore, do you, for trousers, Chris?
No, not with my generation.
Is a Lacazette out wide towards the far side. And Arsenal have an advantage perhaps. Pepe back into Smith Rowe. Time is growing tight, they know that. 2.5 to go. Sambi Lokonga. Tierney in possession. Listen to 5 Live, booms across in towards that far side. Pepe is coming in, brilliant control, goes down under a challenge, drops to the ground. Mitchell was there with him, and Mike Dean not interested at all.
Arsenal players surrounding Mike Dean. I think Pepe's taken the touch and thrown himself to the floor. I can tell you now, he's the winner of next week's simulation game. That is pathetic from Pepe. Should be booked, Jonathan.
He's in possession now, entering the box. Pepe, you're better than that.
He's better than that. That's appalling. It really is. Trying to con the referee.
Lacazette now looks from again inside the penalty. Back to goal, couldn't wriggle his way through, and it's thundered out by one of the 10 yellow shirts back there. 9 plus the goalkeeper, I should say, Guaita. They'd left 1 up, and Arsenal will come again. One-way traffic now as they look for the equaliser. Tierney, left side, 2 yards in from the touchline. Martinelli down the line, back to Tierney. Here's Gabriel, looks for Ben White. Seifert's the ball on the angle out to the right-hand touchline. Pepe. Now Tomiyasu. Smith Rowe, some untidy ball to him really. He was closed on that far side by Conor Gallagher, who hasn't been as expansive as we've seen him for Palace this season, but I'll tell you what, he's put a shift in.
Absolutely. There's a workhorse. All the Palace players out of possession. They've been supremely organised. Just about seeing it through now.
Lacazette on the corner of the box. Drives outside the box, but gets to the dead ball line. Lacazette twists back. Still Lacazette going. Lacazette left-footed. Lifts the diagonal shot well over the bar. Desperate stuff.
Do you know what? At least Arsenal have looked a bit livelier in that final third. Lacazette twisting and turning. Eventually, so many Palace players around him. A wild effort. The Palace will leapfrog Arsenal here, Jonathan. They see this through. And Patrick Vieira, you have to say, has schooled Mikel Arteta this evening. Without his star man, Patrick Vieira, they have looked like a team. They've played like a team. They've worked like a team. Arsenal, question before the game, have they turned the corner?
4 minutes of stoppage time. About numbers, 25 years ago last week, Arsene Wenger took over and the great times were coming. How many years will it be before Arsenal return to those great times? If ever, it's going to be a long while, on the evidence of what we've seen last season, this before they're a top 4 team again, let alone challenging for the title, let alone being in a position to attract superstars. Superstars want Champions League football. Here's Tierney, left-footed into the penalty area. Lacazette with a little flick on. Will he be here next season? One has to wonder. Long way to go, and don't forget they've turned their form around already once this season. But here today they've come across a resolute Crystal Palace side. In towards Smith Rowe, he tried a 1-2 on the edge of the penalty, went over, nothing given.
Gabriel, makeshift centre forward. Hitting hope now from Arsenal.
Mike Dean's been very strong tonight. He's let the advantage go a couple of times as well. Very rarely gets praise. I don't think it bothers him one iota, but
I think he likes praise though, doesn't he, when he does get it?
I think he deserves it tonight.
I think Mike will say that Mike's had a good performance.
Yeah, I'm certain he probably will. And Arsenal have possession on the right-hand side with Tommy Yasu. And he's turned the ball back. There's nothing on, but he didn't look. He wasn't front-footing anything he did there. So they come to the left-hand side. Martinelli has it for Arsenal. Two men with him. Olise is one. Dances away from Olise. Plays the ball slightly forward of square to Tommy Yasu. He's caught in possession by Gallagher. He's won the ball back. Gallagher stayed down. Here's Benteke. And he just imperiously turns 360 degrees, no pressure on him, and MacArthur bends the ball out to Olise. And Elise's been told by the Palace players to get the ball out because the man is down, and he does just that, and it's going to be I think Arsenal might get the ball back. We'll wait and see because time is so tight.
I think it was a Palace throw anyway, wasn't it? Olise? Yep. Drove it, Kieran Tierney. Oh, Gallagher takes a knee to the head. He goes down and Tommy Yasu just on the follow through accidentally catches Conor Gallagher on the head. Mike Dean knows had a good game, should have stopped play immediately with a head injury.
Well,
the Arsenal fans are giving up around us anyway.
They're gone flooding out now. They're absolutely flooding out. And play will restart with. Well, the referee gives the throw to Crystal Palace. He's giving the ball to Joel Ward. What is he saying? It's going to be a bounce ball. Well, Joel Ward's saying, can I get it back to my goalkeeper? It should have been a Palace throw. And Mike Dean, I think, is saying, give it back to the Arsenal. Oh, this will be interesting. No, he's just saying, get on with it with a bounce ball. So they could have had an attack. He played it up to Benteke over his head. And the goalkeeper comes and gathers and Leeds must now. Ramsdale advances 30 yards outside his own penalty area. The right foot crashes it forward towards Martinelli. Martinelli has got the better of Joel Ward. He's got 3 yards from the dead ball line, pirouetting on the ball. Martinelli lets to get a cross in then for Arsenal. Trying to dance between two defenders. He's on this near touchline, and in the end he can't get beyond Ward. And Patrick Vieira applauds the Crystal Palace defending, doubling up, and it's going to be just a throw to the Arsenal. And Tierney will take it. Can they equalise here? Desperately deep into stoppage time. Be undeserving for Palace to get the header away for another corner kick. Shepherd Koyate rose to a man. Crystal Palace have deserved this if they win it. And what a proud evening it will be for Patrick Vieira. Yes, he has those Arsenal memories. I asked him recently when they beat Tottenham, did it mean more for them because it was Tottenham, and he said didn't matter. It's Crystal Palace now, that's all that matters. In comes the corner for the Arsenal to the near post. Olise got a touch and the referee's checked his watch. In comes a cross again from Pepe, higher this time towards Gabriel at the far side. 3 Palace players go for it, they don't clear it away. White tries, it's Perry, it's in! They've done it! Lacazette from 3 or 4 yards out has scrambled an equaliser for Arsenal. And Palace look absolutely crestfallen, and Patrick Vieira sinks to his knees, and they haven't held on, and he blows out and he puffs his cheeks and he turns around, that old Arsenal warhorse, that old Arsenal invincible, and they fail to hold on to their lead. And Alexander Lacazette has been bright since coming on again, scrambles at an equaliser for Arsenal 2, Crystal Palace 2 on 5 Live.
They get away with it here, Arsenal. They haven't deserved anything. It's kept alive. It's actually a volley from Ben White inside the box, left-footed, and it takes a couple of deflections. White's a great save with his left boot, but Lacazette, poacher's goal, puts it in. Mikel Arteta celebrates. His team don't deserve it. They have been thoroughly outplayed this evening.
Well, it's not quite the last kick of the game, but there won't be much left, I'm sure, as Palace pump it forward to Olise, and Mike Dean blows his full-time whistle, and Crystal Palace are denied a first win of the season by that stoppage time equaliser by Lacazette, his third goal of the season and 7 in 12 for him. Begs the question why he's not starting. They look better with him on the field at Brighton. They've looked better with him on the field here tonight. After Aubameyang earlier had them into the lead. Benteke with a crisp drive levelled for the Palace. Edouard with a special goal, lovely goal that, to put Palace ahead. And then that Lacazette equaliser broke a few Eagles' hearts. 2-2 it is at full-time, Chris.
Do you know, you look at the Palace players now sitting down on the pitch. That feels like a defeat for Crystal Palace. They were so dominant in the game, coming from behind, taking the lead, deservedly so. They look like a team, and then Arsenal, at the death, credit to Mikel Arteta for his substitutions and Lacazette. Arsenal better to be lucky than good, and I think they've gotten away with one here, Arsenal. Mikel Arteta will talk about character, staying in the game, but his team were outclassed tonight by Crystal Palace. Have Arsenal turned the corner? Not on this evidence. Palace, they will feel really hard done by.